Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody, for contributing to this. We have a very special evening tonight. George will be taking pictures that hopefully we'll be able to get online or hack website, or they might be able to be used to get into the newspapers or whatever. We'll see about that. But I do want to introduce our special guest tonight. Alice Fox first attended one of my classes here at Hack 2 years ago when she was a mere young lady of 97. Then she was in my class the next year, and it was her 98th birthday when she was in my class, and I remember the class saying happy birthday to you, and I know you were very touched by that. Well, tonight it's even more special. It's your 99th birthday. Born in 1997. About 2 weeks ago, we talked about the sinking of the Lusitania. I hate to bring that up because that was the year of your birthday in 1915 when the Lusitania sank. But before we even entered World War I, an amazing life that Alice has had in the 20th century. And this course is all about the 20th century since basically the time you were born. So I think it's very fitting and appropriate that we have a guest like Alice here tonight. And we hope that after our little celebration here, we can hold on to you for a few minutes and maybe we could ask you a few questions. I know that when people ask you about meeting Franklin Roosevelt, you love talking about that kind of thing, so we really would appreciate that. But we do have a little ceremony for you in honor of your birthday. And at this time, Mary, could you please bring Alice up here and have her face the class?
I'm going to bring it right up here, Miss Alice.
Class, many of you know two of our other special guests here. The first one is Dr. Beverly Stanton, our sociology instructor. She is a friend of Alice's and goes to visit her, and Alice knows Beverly, and I asked Alice, because of that friendship, to please do the honors of presenting Alice with a couple of mementos, a couple of gifts that we have from Hack. And so, first thing, Beverly Stanton, Dr. Stanton. They match your sweater.
Oh, look at the color. Is it beautiful? This is very like those? Yes. Do you want to hold them? Do you want to come on the table? Yeah, well, maybe. Do you want to hold them on the table? Okay, I'll do that. Okay.
Yes, Honor, that might work.
Thank you. I'll be right back.
Here's a card. It says, "You're so special. Your birthday is more than just a special date. It's a celebration of all your days. And this birthday card is just not an expression of sincere wishes for a happy birthday, but also a celebration for the wonderful person you are." And then the entire class signed it. Isn't that nice? See all their signatures in there?
Yes,
Here you go.
indeed.
Thanks to George Liu, a little extra dessert for Alice today.
George gave this little thing. George bought you a Hershey candy bar, you know what I mean? We know how we love chocolate, right?
You're so healthy all these years.
Put this over here, okay?
You're getting quite a stack there, Alice.
And this is from Shannon Harvey.
And this is from, here, I'll take this, honey. This is from Shannon. It's a nice cup. That's Shannon over there. She heads up our campus.
Ooh,
Yeah.
let's see what it says. Does it say Hack on
Yeah.
it?
It says Hack on it.
yeah.
Hack Gettysburg Campus, and it's a nice one.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, honey, this is not a cheapie. See, it's got that all rich color, yeah. Don't you let any of those people down there take that from you, tell them this one. I know how it be, you know what I mean? I used to live in a dorm.
I did.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh.
50th anniversary.
And here's a Hack 50th anniversary t-shirt.
Oh my.
You know it's our 50th anniversary, you know?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. This is nice. See, look.
Oh, and look on the back.
That's something.
Isn't that? You know, you could probably wear that as a little nightgown thing. one of those cute little baby doll ones. You remember back in the day?
Yeah,
You remember?
long
Long time ago, that's right. Okay.
And finally, Alice, a special surprise we have for you. You love education, you are a great student, and I know you were a great teacher also. And so we do have a special celebration for you, but it's going to require you to wear a graduation cap.
Ooh, change your
Can
hair
Dr.
now.
Stanton, can Beverly put this on you with the tassel, and she can keep this and the
Oh,
tassel as a memento.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Your hair's a little slippery.
oh, look at that.
Circumstances. And there's your tassel.
Oh, yes, oh.
Now, here comes the treat. We put that up there.
We always have
Now, I would like to ask our campus vice president, Shannon Harvey, has a special presentation for you. I'll turn the music down.
Here, I'll hold it on for you. That's okay. Look over at Shannon.
I can come here.
Okay, all right.
Alice, this day, it's about you, it's your birthday, but I couldn't start with celebrating you until I celebrated Mary. Mary and I first talked probably 6 years ago. And Mary, when she came to the Brethren home, had the idea that from where she worked previously, they did a lot of partnership with Mount St. Mary's. And she wanted HAC to partner with the Brethren home to be able to do something like you're doing. And at that time, I had no idea how we would do it. HAC had never done anything like that. And due to her persistence, you were sitting here. So we're celebrating your birthday, but I also celebrate you, Mary, because you never gave up and you kept looking for ways that we were going to make this work. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
But this certificate is for you, and it says Alice Fox has been conferred the title of Honorary Professor of History.
Oh,
That's great. Told me about it. You definitely can teach history.
And in turn, Professor Havel asked me to say a few appropriate remarks. And whenever a history person with his knowledge uses those words, a few appropriate remarks, it made me very nervous. Because I immediately thought of the fact that's how we characterize Lincoln's speech here in Gettysburg, as a few appropriate remarks. So I knew that I couldn't do anything like that, but I did write down something that I want to be certain to read perfectly for my a few appropriate remarks. But the definition of professor, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is a teacher of the highest rank at a college or university. This definition is fitting of you, Alice. We here at HAC hold you in the highest rank for what you have taught us. A love and a commitment for lifelong learning, the importance of learning from each other, regardless of background, experience, age, or degrees, and most importantly, gratitude and enthusiasm for education. So with that, we confer to you the Honorary Professor of History here at HAC.
What do you think? What do you think?
Well, I think plenty.
I think
I
fun.
can tell some students that they're just a little bit, to give my thanks. Shall I?
Yes, please.
Please.
And I'll take this off here and put your other hat back on.
Oh, that's such a great keepsake for her. There you go.
Did
Sound
I put it on?
I like that.
Okay, go
I'll
ahead.
just hold it here.
Okay, I'll hold it for you. Okay, go ahead.
It really is a joy to be here in the first place. My mind goes back to my first grade in school. I won't make it long, but my sisters and I walked 2 miles to view a one-room school. I'm talking about when I started to the first grade, I was 6 years old, And my first teacher was Mr. Clarence Carver. However, that school was called Beulah One-Room School. And I just loved every book that I held in my hands. I loved to study. And here I will mention Joe Rhodes. He was my dad's hired hand on their big farm, that big farm where I was born was 232 acres. And in the evening, the hired hand, Joe Rhodes, would say, come to my knees, sit on my lap, and read for me from your first grade reader. That was a big, big help to encourage me. And I went to that one-room school until my father and mother decided, this was in the Great Depression, to sell their big farm. And that was a disappointment to them in a way, but my daddy had started selling insurance for the Grange Company, Farmers and Traders. And he had to take tests to be an agent, and that part worked out very well, that he got to so involved in that he had teachers in Westmoreland and Cambria County. They were his sub-agents. The next thing was that we moved to Somerset, and there I was going to Somerset the town to school, beginning at 4th grade, that would have been. Along the way, there were a lot of things to count carefully. That was how you spent every penny. A lot of counselors agree that the Great Depression started in 1929 when the banks failed and lasted till 1944, but I thought really it was just 1941. Then, after my daddy and mother had sold their farm, and when the Great Depression was, the man who had bought the farm came one time up to our home in Somerset, and with tears running down his face, he said to my dad, I can no longer make the payments to the Federal Land Bank. My dad had gone on his credit, but he said, I will have to go into bankruptcy. And that was a big, big change in our family. It would have been my year to go to Millersville, but I could not go then. I had to wait till things got better. And one thing I could do, they said, we could arrange for you to keep on taking piano lessons. And the teacher who taught me, her name was Mrs. Brashear, and she lowered her price to 50 cents a lesson so that I could take
Alice, was that during the Depression?
But everybody did work together in that area as long as the Great Depression. And I can tell quite a story about how I met Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
That's what.
Alice, could we maybe talk about that after we eat? Because
Yeah,
Shannon
they're
has
gonna
to
have,
leave,
I think
so-
they're gonna have
Can we
something.
talk about that after we eat, because we want to ask you more
Yes,
questions?
after,
But I do have one question to ask you before we start to eat.
and that's all I have to tell.
Today's October the 7th, 2014. It's your 99th birthday. Do you promise you'll come back next year for your 100th birthday?
Oh.
And now we have some salads for you and Mary. We have pizza.
Yes.
And I want to thank a few people. Jessica donated this lovely little pin you're wearing. It says birthday girl. Kevin Riley is right here. He is a professional baker. He made the cupcakes that are in the shape of a 99, and we're gonna sing happy birthday in a second, have you blow the candles. Herb brought in an old-fashioned crank-up record player to play some old music while we're eating dinner. And I hope I didn't leave anybody out here.
So
And all the students, of
special.
course, contributed to buy the pizza and everything else, so, why don't we, first of all, just have you blow the candles so we can sing happy birthday, then we'll dig in, and I don't have a
Well,
lighter.
I feel so
At least
welcome.
one smoker.
Oh, you should at least a smoker in here. Come on.
Maybe I do.
Thank you. We just have the 99.
No, your
So
sprinkler
the cake
system's
is the
not
shape
gonna
of
go
a
off,
99, and
It would be the most hilarious
the
thing.
two candles are 99.
May I close the door?
Oh,
Ooh, it's like Jack opened up a nightclub.
I just have to, yeah, you wish to bring a little
Yes,
closer.
let you go one at a time, or you can just lift up the candles and have a blow.
Are you making a wish?
Making a wish.
You gotta blow this one and this one before their sprinkler system goes off. Ready?
Oh, we have to sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alice. Happy birthday to you. Okay, Alice, blow them out.
Come on.
Blow. One more. It's been a long time because I don't think we're not allowed candles at Crosskeys, so there you go. Very
Well, she's
nice.
special, she's allowed to have candles.
Yay! How wonderful. What do you have to say to everybody
Can you
here
have someone say,
for
anybody from
special?
66?
Many, many sincere thanks.
Oh. I think we're scooting right back around here. That's so nice.
College. And it was highly advertised that on July the 4th, our President of the United States, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, would be dedicating the eternal peace light up at Gettysburg. It was advertised all over the nation. And I knew that my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Alvin O'Gladden was my maiden name, they were coming from Somerset. And by luck, I was offered a ride from Millersville to Gettysburg by a young lady who had her car there. This event was to take place at 2 p.m. on July the 4th. And my girlfriend and I were there early. And already there was a mob of people on that campus there. And there also were many little children waving flags, waving flags. We were early there, as I mentioned, and it wasn't long until our president arrived in the presidential limousine.
But as he entered the campus there, he had the window rolled down, and he was waving, waving, waving. And little children, as I said, got a chance later to shake his hand, just as I did. He announced, after he had dedicated the eternal peace light, and after we sang the Star Spangled Banner, he announced that he would be in no hurry to leave the campus there. He said, if you want to meet me personally, I will wait till everyone has cleared out, and then I will leave. So it was that I decided I would like to meet him, and I waited an hour in line before I got the chance to shake his hand. And he was in no hurry. He asked where I hailed from, and that, of course, was Somerset County, Pennsylvania. He asked about my parents. Well, I told him my parents would be there, but I got separated from my parents because I was with the lady who had brought me over. And the Gettysburg Times on July the 5th made it clear that on July the 4th, there were 15,000 people came to Gettysburg to be present at this great event. It is something that I will never, never forget. July the 4th, 1938. And I was exactly 21 years old.
College student, right? What about the Civil War soldiers? Weren't there
What about
some
what?
Civil War soldiers there?
Oh. Adjacent to where the peace light was being dedicated, there was a large farmer's field where Civil War veterans were having their encampment. And my father's father, Eli Ogide, fought in the Civil War. He was in the Battle of Cedar Creek, Virginia, and that was a bloody, very bloody one-day battle, and the Union won. I bought a book about that Battle of Cedar Creek, which I quite frequently refer to, and the Union won that battle. My grandfather is buried in Lichty Cemetery, an evangelical church cemetery, and my grandmother is buried there. I don't go back to it often, but the Lichty's church was built. It's a frame church. It was built in the early 1800s. Many people come to that cemetery just to look at the graves of the many Civil War veterans who are buried there. And I think I told you, my grandfather's name was Eli, E-L-I, Ogline, O-G-L-I-N-E.
Quite a story. That's something.
And Alice, can I ask a
So I'm
question?
glad to share that with you.
That's so neat, you guys meet. That's
And
really
this
neat.
99th birthday really has been so pleasant because I had a chance to come here. And you helped me to celebrate my birthday.
Let me tell the class something. I mentioned it to them last week, but I think it's pretty amazing. And Alice, you know this, that when you were here in 1938 on July the 4th, you not only met Franklin Roosevelt, the president, but you said that you had the opportunity to talk to some of the soldiers that had actually fought here at the Battle of Gettysburg,
Yes.
who were camped here. And so those of you that talked to Alice tonight or shook her hand, you have talked to somebody who talked to a Civil War soldier. And I think that's amazing. And do you remember there being a lot of veterans here, and how old were they?
They were pretty old, weren't they, Alice?
All the veterans, some of them were near 100.
Yes. The average age was, I think,
And I
90,
forgot to tell
94 or
you,
95.
the Gettysburg Times on July the 5th had a write-up about this big day on July the 4th. And they said that many people were overcome with the heat.
That's right.
It was so hot. I truly believe the temperature, I still have that article from the Gettysburg Times. The heat was something like 125 degrees.
Oh, no.
It seems unreasonable,
my.
but I know for sure how hot it was.
No.
Sometimes it seems like that.
Oh, my
And that is unbelievable.
Yeah. So your father shook hands with a lot of the veterans
Yes,
also,
that's
didn't he?
right. He shook hands with the veterans, and he just stayed, I think, all night. In fact, some said, staying, you could be in our tent.
Because they had tents then.
Yeah, that's right. They had tents right across the
But
road here.
he had to go home, and I
in
had to
Carlisle,
get back
yeah.
to
You didn't want to stay in the tent, huh? Tell them about when you went, the United States Army called you to, they called you to teach, remember?
where,
The United States Army or the government called you, right? You were at home?
well, I did have a big surprise. That would have been in the year 1940. There was a phone call, and my oldest sister answered, and she said that it's for you, Alice. It's a man from the U.S. Army wants to speak to you. And the reason he called was he had been in at Somerset Courthouse looking for some person who had taught a one-room school. And the reason I taught a one-room school was that during World War II, the men were called to service, and it was usually the men who were assigned to teach the one-room school. Before I taught a one-room school, I taught in a graded school. I taught grades 5 and 6. And so this man who made the phone call asked if I could go over to Germany and start a school. He called it an independent school. I was really teaching the children of the soldiers, the many, many soldiers. And honestly, I hated to go say yes on the phone because both of my parents had died within 3 months before that. But when I asked or told my oldest sister about this, that I had a chance to go over to Germany, she said, "Oh, Alice, please go for it." She said, "Opportunity knocks just once sometimes." And with that thought, I said yes to the gentleman on the phone.
And I think it's interesting to think of the times of a single woman at that time, and to be asked to go, oh, would you just leave everything, that small town, and go to Germany and accept this teaching where you knew, did you know anybody?
Over there, no.
And so did they fly you there then, Alice? And
I flew over to Germany on an army transport
could
plane.
you imagine?
And I do remember that over the Azore Islands, there was a terrible storm. It was a storm of sleet and like wintry sleet and snow and rain and everything, and that old airplane really shook.
To be all by yourself and just to go do that.
However, then, over Ammergau, you know, is where the Passion Play is put on every 10 years. They had built a new school for the children of the soldiers. And my commandant, when I was introduced to him, whose name was Colonel Charles Ott, he shook my hand and he said this, "Miss Ogline, I know that we will get along just fine. And we will be friends because both of us are from Pennsylvania." I really felt good about that. And I have kept a diary the whole year, the whole 2 years I was in Germany. My mother kept a diary. I guess it was the thing long, long ago to keep a diary. And then my second year, they said, "We can give you another promotion over there." Then I taught in the city. I was going to stay only 1 year, but they made it plain that they needed someone to start a new school in the city of Munich, Germany. That's the capital of all Bavaria. So it was that I had a bigger enrollment at first, and then they had 2 more teachers from the United States come. There were 3 of us who really taught in the schools they had there, and I was there for 2 Christmases in Germany, 2 Easters, and they built the first year in Oberammergau in southwestern Germany. They were mostly Catholics. And in Munich area, it was a little bit different. There were more Protestants, but there still were Catholics too. And it was just so wonderful to know that they worked together in things, the Protestant and the Catholics.
Well, I think it's amazing that you can remember names and
And
dates,
dates.
I got it.
exact times of the day and everything
Weather.
else.
In
Well, speaking of time of the day,
Yeah.
I'm going to allow the students to end class now. But I just wanted to thank you, Alice,
So
very much
wonderful.
for coming in. And I know it's